What's up? What's up? Uh, About to get into it. Just one quick thing about my comments on YouTube. They're not really meant for people's opinion. If you want to have an opinion, you can make your own channel or hit me on Twitter, where I'm more opinionated and more open to questioning and things like that. But my YouTube is just for me expressing my mind. And if you have any questions, that's fine. But I mean, other than that, if you think I'm wrong, that's fine. Just make your own channel. I really don't care. But and it's not just the one person that said something before. I deleted other people's posts, and because I just don't like comments. And just to respond to him, like, you pretty much said what I said. Like, we agree with each other in the sense but we didn't have a holistic connection. In that same aspect, like, you said that all you have to do is add wisdom to your past self. Well, that's pretty much what I'd be saying about upgrading your pain or upgrading any of your lessons that you go through. Like, for example, I used to hate people, but then that hate turned into hating this reality because I realized that people are a product of their environment. And then that went from me hating this reality to wanting to transcend. And those are all stepping stones that I had to build to elevate and keep growing. And I mean, it might be at the bottom of my pyramid, but it's something I still stand on. And even if it's something that happened to me at 5 years old, if it's resurfacing to my conscious self, that means it needs to be checked because it hasn't been unbalanced. Like, anything that you reminisce on, it means there's something that's there, like, that you can learn from. Point blank, period. That's why it pops up. Nothing just comes up in your mind out the blue. And I constantly think about my childhood all the time because, I mean, it has notes where it helps me, where I could see that I was always connected versus where I start to lose my connection, and how a lot of these programs started to even be implemented into us. So if you start to forget your 5-year-old self and your younger self, you miss a lot of how these things were even brought into your life, and then you fully don't understand and grasp what's going on. So, like I said, I'm not really into comments, but if you want to leave comments, like I said, I'm just a spicy person. It's really for your own safety, because I hope you want to shoot at people. Like, it's just, I'm a spicy person, so when you say something and then you say, like, whatever, like I said, just to get into it, it's just at your own warning. You can comment if you want, man. Like I said, I read the questions more than a debate. I'm not really up for debate right now, or ever anymore. There's nothing up to debate. But all right, let me get into my notes. I wanted to get back into having multiple personalities, and this kind of ties to what I was talking to about just now with the comments and raising up yourself. Like, for a lot of our celebrities, they have multiple personalities. Like, the people that shine their light the best have multiple personalities, and they literally been manifesting out of those different versions of themselves. Sometimes they be manifesting out of lower selves and higher selves. Sometimes it's a mix of everything. That's what alchemy is. Like, it's just period. It's like you cooking with different recipes. You mix a little bit of everything. And just to get into it more, like, for pain and a lot of these things that we have, bro, it's like when you first go through it, when it first happened to you, like, every experience create, like, not every experience, but certain experiences create these personalities or personas or foundations that you're gonna always have and always can, like, probably be refreshed on your mind, maybe till you get into another cycle of life. And while you're on these things and these personalities, like, when they first go or happen to you, they're in the beginning cycle. So it's like the base of a tornado, and that's like it's the first stage or whatever, and that's like your kid self. And then you got to raise it up to a teenager, and then like a mid, whatever, to adult, and then to man, to elder, to wise, to a god. And I mean, however fast you transcend those levels of fear, like, because you can transcend, like, the base level of fear from a child version to a god version. And the reason you can say it is because all these things are in the energy. Fear, love, all these different things are just in the energy. Doubt, like, I'm not saying in the energy, just out there to tap into. And right now, we look at love, we look at fear like gods, because we don't understand these energies that we created. Like, I'm not going to get into that, but if we was to elevate ourselves, we'll be above these emotions, and we'll start looking at these emotions like kids or whatever, and then you start elevating them even more. And it's just... when I see shit in my head that I don't want to explain, like, I'm like, that's just too much right now, bro. But, and it's pretty much just like a seesaw effect with raising yourself up. Like, it's different ways of doing it, and everybody's method is different. Like, it's like looking at somebody's heartbeat. Like, everybody's shit rises up and, goes up, like, just differently. And it's just all I'm saying. the best way I want to explain it. Everybody heartbeat don't look the same. If it do, something else don't look the same. Your fingerprint, goddammit. I'm just saying, like, all our passive ascension and growth is just different. And just to get into like Beyonce, like she was talking about Sasha Fierce, like that version of her. Sasha Fierce has helped her create so much shit. But if she was just to stick to that shy version of herself, like she talked about, she wouldn't be able to create or manifest anything. And it just go to show, like, that's the wild child. Like, I think her dad was a pastor, no, a lawyer. Well, he's a wholesome dude in the sense of, I'm sure he don't want, I mean, if he about his money, he's not really tripping about that. But most dads wouldn't want their daughters out there, you know, dressed up, half naked, in front of all these people dancing and shit like that. But in that same aspect, and she probably knew that, and beginning, like, it was probably hard for her to show her sexuality. And I remember her talking about that. Like, she ended up making a personality to start showing off her sexuality. Or something like that. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I know I'm in the ballpark. And a lot of people do that. Like, they create these versions of themselves, like Janet Jackson. Like, she was always this childhood figure, so she ended up creating another personality to be sexual, because it probably was hard for her to be sexual because she was this goody two-shoes. So it just go to show, you know, you try to create this one thing, but you're so many other things besides that. It's not, you might be sexual, but that don't mean you're not goody two-shoes either. It's just a little bit of everything. That's what this alchemy is, and that's going into mixing everything and truly being holistic. Like, you see, like Nicki Minaj, she got many versions of herself, man. She's very good at acting because she's so in touch with all these versions of herself. Like, she might be a better actor than Beyonce, because Beyonce might only have, look, the shy version, Sasha Fierce, and then like maybe another version of herself. And then, just off topic real quick, mostly every celebrity's got at least two versions of themselves: their real name, their alter ego name, that's their celebrity name, and then sometimes they give themselves even another name off of that shit. Niggas like P. Diddy on their 5th and 6th, 7th personality, honestly. And every time he switch name, that's just an energy he's switching into, another personality he's switching into. And these celebrities really be showing us how to be our best versions of God, but they're pleasing to Satan, they pleasing humanity in a sense. And that's why they light shine so bright, but they can't go to the next step and show us even greater than what they are now, and they start to become stagnant. That's why we get tired of our celebrities, because once they get to that peak, it's like, all right, well, what you gonna do next? Shouldn't you become a god since we idolize you so much? Technically. But no, they never become that, and they get old and all that shit, and then they die at our heart and fade out. But if they did make that next step, and usually when like Michael Jackson, or when they do transition, it be on a whole nother level. That shit just peak up, and that's why. And that's why. But imagine if that nigga turned to Superman and he didn't die. Them cells really gonna be booming like, nigga, what you were talking about that I missed? Bro, I be fucking with my mind, dog. I'm so fucking funny, bro. Like, the shit you be thinking about. Because, I mean, we was on a podcast talking about that. Like, bro, why people numbers go up after they die? It's like they transitioning. And people was like, we been waiting on what's the next step. Even though you can't make music now that you did. Like, you're still like, what's the next step? Dog, we so fucking crazy, bro. Like, how much we be asking for these celebrities. And then be realizing, like, you be really wanting these people to be God. And when they fuck up, you get mad at them because you think God's perfect. Or I ain't gonna say you think God's perfect, but you think God is only one way and not holistic. So when you see these celebrities being holistic, even though it's a bit of humanity added into it, you get a little fucked up. But for me, I'm not gonna judge, because I know we all got human ways still. Like, nobody's gonna defeat humanity until they get out, like, until we truly ascend. Like, that's why people be like, I'm getting rid of this pain. Nigga, your human flesh is walking pain, nigga. You gonna always have an ache. You gonna always have something, nigga. Like, my girl say, damn, I gotta remember her name. It's like Boss Team or something. She do Tarope and something, but she was like the thorn in your side. That's what the flesh is, fam. So until you get rid of this shit, you gonna always have that. You gonna always have pain. I don't get. That's when God talk about burden, the burden, nigga. This human body is our burden. It holds our spirit down. What fuck, bro? Nigga, like, niggas don't be understanding this shit. Niggas talking about pressure, nigga. This body is our pressure, and it's about to make a diamond in our spirit, nigga. Like, like, I'm onward right now. What the fuck? But let me see. Yeah, Nicki, I talked about her having multiple personalities. And, bro, think if she's in control of all her versions of herself. I wouldn't say she's necessarily in control, but think if she's in control, how many more things she can manifest. And it's just going to keep getting grander and grander and grander and grander and grander. It just go to show how infinite the mind is. Like, literally, I can keep coming up with different versions of myself, but I'm just going to stick to, you know, the ones I got. And I really don't even care about them. Like, you don't have to call me Emerald Thoughts or Bryce. Hey, what's up, bro? What's up? On whatever you need me to be. You need me to be an enemy, I could be that. Need me to be your friend, I could be that. Like, literally. It's a mix of everything around here. I ain't scared of nothing. Yeah, and then just to say that not being able to deal with all herself, that's kind of like schizophrenia, and because you can't really deal with yourself, you're not in control, and you're more of a victim to yourself, and that's more like having a monkey on your back. Well, that's like I said, the thorn. You're gonna always have the thorn, but you add greater weight like Atlas when when you start to let these things go unacknowledged. Because like I said, all these versions of you were created through an experience. Like one grand experience, like Inside Out happened opposite. She destroyed versions of herself through different experiences, but I look at it the opposite. And I'm sure it's counter. It's like I said, it goes both ways. Like sometimes certain experiences destroy versions of yourself versus other experiences create. And that's why I said I'm gonna be holistic. I ain't gonna just look at it one way. Look at it both ways. The movie might not have been holistic, but I can make it a holistic movie. And in that same aspect, like she'll lose like Joy Happy Land or Funville or Parentville or whatever, like whatever aspect, like her, like she fell out with her people, so now that foundation had failed. So in that same aspect, she could make up with her people and she built a new foundation or whatever. And they kind of showed that too. And no, actually they did show that. They showed it at the end. I forgot about that because she did recreate, if I'm not mistaken, new towns for herself. But it took a while. She had to go through some learning and searching and understanding. But yeah, once you become in control and not the victim, you start manifesting more. And yeah, like through experiences. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's what I was saying. And when you go through these experiences and say you did destroy or create new things, if you didn't acknowledge it, understand it, interpret it, introspect it, and have true holistic views on it, it's going to become a demon or an unchecked child that's just going to keep tugging at you and holding you back. Because, you know, children really don't know their place all the time. So you got to keep correcting them. And that's just literally what happens. Like I said, when you first go through the cycle, it's like a kid version, almost like a toddler, maybe even an infant. So you shouldn't even say a kid version. You should look at it like, damn, when it first happened to me, you're not even going to be able to listen to yourself. And if you think about it, when you go through shit, it's almost like it's unbearable, that pain. So it's like a toddler, nigga. Toddler, it's crying. It don't hear what you're saying, nigga. It want whatever it wants. It wants whatever you need to do to please it. Versus when it grows up to a little older, it has a little more understanding and keeps growing. And that's how I look at pain. That's how I look at anything. When you first go through pain, it's so unbearable, and you grow out of it. And that with the things you learn from it, you almost can never go back to it, bro. When you truly understand depression, when you truly understand pain, you truly understand your purpose and path, shit get a lot easier, shit get a lot stress-free. And that's the part, like I'm assuming the person in the comments was talking about with detachment, which I understand, but it's a process. You can act like you got it all figured out, but trust me, it's not that easy. And I know everybody not there yet, so I gotta speak on a process. Like, people still dealing with their pain. I'm still dealing with shit that I'm going through. Like, just because I make videos, I mean, I'm perfect, but I'm willing to put myself out there. Because, I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Not being really scared of your version of yourself, realizing all versions of yourself was created for a reason, and those are foundations you can build on. Even if you need to be a long-term foundation or a short-term foundation, it's still something that you use to build on. And if you're holistic, you'll never forget anything, because having a cosmic memory is about remembering everything. The only reason we forget is so we'll never forget again type shit. Go back remembering all through that process of that, all that trying and tribulation, bro, you won't ever forget that we wasn't gods again. And trust me, that's what we heading into. So, like I said, you can detach from your pain, but that pain made you a God. This thorn in the body made you a God. That's a whole process. That's a whole path. So what's the point of forgetting about it if that's a part of it? Like I said, it's just a lesson, but that's having a holistic understanding. But I'm out. Deuces.